time to save, as we finally get to deal with the body. I wonder what Kuno's going to be doing now that the body's not his little plaything. Corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side. Beautiful. Shed a tear. Mr. Bedgehead has done a good job. Lieutenant nods approvingly. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy. Well, we're doing an autopsy. Visual calculus time. A field autopsy? Yes. He covers his nose and lists. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We're on number 3. The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual. What the fuck are they on about? Cop's gonna cut his shit up? Don't we have someone else for this? Doctor? No. You and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain. From autopsy to cleanup, to social work, everything. Wait, honorary rank of detective? An honor and a burden. Attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able. Usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is lieutenant detective. Yeah, I feel like a detective. You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. Now, Lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. First, what exactly is a field autopsy? Come on, officer. He pulls on a pair of latex gloves. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. What you do know is that 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single Epui de Sang to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a failed... Okay. Thanks, Encyclopedia. I appreciate it. That was only a medium one, too. Why don't you know? What use are you? You must confuse me with the Copperpedia. Who's the Copperpedia? I think I need to talk to him. You, sir. You're the Copperpedia. Do you have another pair of gloves? Unfortunately, no. I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough. They're better than nothing. The lieutenant looks at the gloves. Tell you what. I perform the anatomical side of things while you take notes. We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger. That's right. You knew it, because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol. Yeah, we got this. We're smart. Tell me something, dead man. Shoot, loony Ronnie. Yeah, I don't think we got anything new here, unfortunately, so that sucks. Open your ledger in... Oh, did you say anything new? Barely. Open your dreams of the field autopsy form. Dreams? I read dreams from the other thing. Ledger of the field autopsy form. Dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out. It begins with 1. Assistant. That's you. Harry Dubois. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just lies there. The next box says, Coroner's case number. KK570803.0815. KK, Kim Kitsuragi, 57, Precinct 57, followed by his date, the 8th of the 3rd, and the time of arrival, 8:15 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself and not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I have arrived at the scene before you. And what would that make the alphanumeric? I have no idea. I do. KK just said it again. Sure, fuck it. Next, name. We've had a nom de guerre. Lely. It's better than nothing. Write it down. Write Lely. Nom de guerre. What's next? Date of birth? Date of birth! Not applicable. Age? The man corrects his glasses. Roughly 50. So this dude was just partying down and having all the sex at age 50. What a cool guy. Try 40. Damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. I'm gonna write 42. Race. Mundale. I don't think we've heard of that one. Fed olive-skinned from the Isola. Oh, but Mundi, okay. I would have called that Mundian, but that's just me. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of the curdled meat looks neither Mondale nor anything other. Sex. Fucky fucky! The little monster exclaims energetically. Male. Pigs can have sex! Right, fucky fucky. KK 57 0503 815 Lily 42 Mondial fucky no, male. Nor does he look male with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th 51. What else? He looks over your shoulder. 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case. KK 57 0503 851. Or 15. Listens motionless. With the cargo belt still around his neck. Only the box remains. Evidence of treatment. I'm not seeing anything yet, but we know there's tampering here. Write down, yes, non-visual. Corroborated by witness. See report. Good. Lieutenant falls silent. He places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest as if in preparation. We should start the post-mortem. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copy of paper tries to answer why. Just try and take off his shoes again. External examination. Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrudine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. Does this matter? See? It's happening! Babrudine. Yes. Inexpensive, size M, color white. Disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Oh, for fuck's sake. Siri! Hey, Siri. Define lurid.
As a verb, it means
No. Ugh. Hey, Siri. Define lurid.
lurid means
Unpleasantly bright. Or unnatural. Visually shocking or sensational. Or whatever, I don't fucking know. The rest of the clothes have been removed by post-mortem by scavengers in order to get the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else. When am I gonna get them? Patience, after the autopsy, before the body's taken away. There will be a window of opportunity, after the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this helps you, my liege. Omit the boots. The boot has a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. It's E50 100 1000. Lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by design. Tattoos. He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is white and blue. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. He produces a measuring tape. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. He kneels to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back. Short. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to the touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim. Stroke his hair gently. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand like the thread of a ragdoll's head. Oh, keep petting it. No. More hair sticks to your hand. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull. An alien landscape. There, dead man. You were someone's child. It's all over now. There, baby. The lieutenant watches you in silence. Write it down. That was some sick shit, Sakapa! Lividity is consistent with the hanging, albeit faint. Ergo post-mortem. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head and chest, consistent with stones thrown. Low velocity. Fucking low velocity! Oh, I can't. Fucking low velocity, chink chunk! The kid explodes. Oh, that felt wrong. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max! Talking shit about Kuno's velocity? The lieutenant pays no heed. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Write down but meant for high velocity. No, write down. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife, with the other hand pulling on the belt. He starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring. He concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt, so we can get to the ligature mark. Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Pull out the rubber gripped cutters. I'll pet the chain cutters. Oh, we're petting them. We're petting everything. The hangman lets out a joyous bubble of rot from his nose. Oh, thank you, hanged man. I appreciate that. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can. See? My pig's gonna fuck his head off! No, he ain't. C looks blasé. Your pig's boring as fuck. Cut the belts off. Oh no, I might by accident. I'm not your pig, Kuno. You are? He says with calm certainty. You're Kuno's pig. Concentrate on the belt, not on whose pig you are. There is no pig. There are only chain cutters. And the belt. Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from yeast. There's no, it's a red I'm gonna fuck this up. You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant you jam them as in they don't work anymore. That seems like a smart idea, yeah. Somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. And you rotate to get a better hold and... fuckity fuck. Lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid. Rotating is just gonna kill him. Oh, he's dead. Rotating is just gonna... tear him? Really bad smell is coming from there now. Some cracking sound. Cut. Yeah, fuck him! Fuck that Fagari! Corpse fucking time! Told you my pig was hardcore. He steps in and takes the chain cutters from you. I should have a go. Before. I think I have a strategy. Yeah, let him work, of course. He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and a dark red ligature mark around it. Here. He hands you the chain cutters back, then kneels closer to the body, running his finger along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 to 1.5 meters. Well done. Sounds like it would throw us off if we didn't know. That he was dead, yes. They move fast. This is good treatment. Write it down. Chest is intact. He presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia. Pulls down the man's underpants. No! It's gonna happen, see? I fucking knew it! This is clearly what they've been waiting for. Ever since the autopsy began, the lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible. Genitalia of the male is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Does it look like he was enjoying his moment of death? Ah, yes, your hunch from before. We can have a semen analysis requested from processing, if that's what you meant. Oh, the snow stopped! I liked the snow. I was trying to get a psychic read. No, you weren't, officer. That would be preposterous. He shakes his head. Just write down that we request a semen, vaginal, and anal fluids analysis? Okay. The corpse with his pants down does not have an opinion on the subject. Oh, they've actually taken... Well, thank you for being in the position you are, sir. That's very, dignified. I appreciate it. I don't have to censor anything. Not that I ever bother, judging from The Witcher. But whatever. All he has is genitals and a deathly odor. Inspect, I guess. Dead man's penis is average sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch. What does marbling mean? I don't want to know. Is it the veins? Do you know how marble has like those lines coming through it? I'm gonna assume that's what that means, because otherwise I assume it's smegma. Write it down and add semen sample. Back is symmetrical and intact. He struggles to turn the corpse on its side. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat history. The scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's. We have a real museum here, of battles and wars. Last item. Hands. Takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Let the lieutenant work alone. Actually, pick up the hand. His flesh is cold. I see. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. Where are you from? What's your name? What the? I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. What was his... I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. Your name is Ilkobo. What can I do for you, Ilkobo? To Cappadocia. It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair? I did, Kobo. I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy. Before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. You should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean. Hands are clean, the lieutenant concludes. The dead man's fingers slip from your hand, cold and sausage-like. No sign of injury from struggling. Were we expecting any? Not particularly, him being dead when they carried him over. It is very hard to struggle when you're dead. Death is the end of struggle. Write it down. Whew. He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket and you hear a muffled voice. That's all for external. Well done. What next? Oh yeah, that was only a third of it. Oh good. Internal examination, I guess. Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral from this story. If I may add the moral of this story. What would that be? He looks at you inquisitively. Dead man looks too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of this story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. Lieutenant grins. I think that may be the moral of every story, officer. Thank you for lightening the mood here. Aw, that's so cute. It's hard down here. I'll write NA. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the mouth hole. Eyes squinting from the stench. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. Gently, a rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Yay! Purge fluids run down his lips. Black and viscous. What is purge fluid? Yeah, jack that fucker up. I don't even want to say that. The hyoid bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of his musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucose of his lips and mouth. From here it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart, hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hands. Look inside. No scream. No sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again. Straight into that mouth of his. I'm worried if I look deeper inside, I'm actually going to vomit inside the dead man. Nothing will come from this that Kim won't have already seen. Let's not vomit in the dead man. He wipes his brow. Hepatobiliary. Not applicable. Why? We don't have anything? He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Hepato means liver, and biliary the gallbladder and bile ducts. Am I an expert in those things? Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one. I don't think so. Neither am I. And that's it? That's it. Right, NA. Same for toxicology and serology. Both? Unless you have untapped reservations of knowledge there. Reservoirs? No. But do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits? Would obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit the fields? No. The completionist in me wonders if there's still something we could do. We only have one test, as per regulation, and we already requested semen. Wait, we can only ask for one test? Pigs requesting semen like it's no big deal? I'm not even interested in these boring mullocks anymore. I haven't sorted him off or anything. Oh, God. Yeah, it's better to leave it at that. More important. Oh, toxicology seems prudent. Man, why can't we have both? Both seem very important. Yeah, better to leave it at that. More important. Leave it at not applicable then. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood is gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal. He breathes a sigh approaching relief. It's the last field on the list. Oh, this is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground and the pool of feces there. This will do. And he briefly touches the corpse's lower abdomen, briefly, and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. Write it down, omit the voila. Keep the voila. I'm not getting him. I'm going to keep the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries. Summary. Let's see. He tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one, too. What about the injuries we have afflicted? Oh? He looks incredulous. So we inflicted them? What did I do? This is a team... Okay, I inflicted. Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters. Yeah, I agree. The waters are muddy enough. See, these pigs are fucking corrupt. The boy nods approvingly. Why don't you fuck them if you love them so much? Now, injuries. Well, I want to start with the bite marks, actually, because I don't know. I don't know who would have bit. I guess during the sexos. He nods. Okay, maybe not. I don't know anyone who's just biting the scalp. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds. Oh, I see. Has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. Non-fatal post-mortem. The birds got to him first. Agreed. Next injury. Contusions. So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury. A stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem. A maximum velocity? Fucko! He has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. The lieutenant's submission has caused the great gratitude in Kuno. He is silent with it. Write it down. Coagulated blood sticks to the scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes, non-fatal. Right. Next. What's the 4th injury field for? Nothing. Just in case. Well, for now, we finish the autopsy. A dark red abraded ligature marks encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured and the cervical column is intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Below the note, the 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. Man's head jerks to the side, waiting your judgment. A ring around the neck is visible. It's non-fatal, post-mortem. That's right. No clawing marks on the neck, no signs of struggle on the crime scene. Faint lividity. A witness statement from the perpetrators confirms the wound is post-mortem. Treatment. That's it. Field autopsy done, detective. All that remains is to see if the alleged cause of death, the bullet, is truly lodged in his brain. I'll leave that to you, colleague, or to processing. I won't force you in there. Quickly leave. Quickly save. Inspect again. Oh, I was so worried that it wasn't going to let me do that. Because if I accidentally fail with like a 3% time thing. Yes, here we go. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh. First with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. Here we go. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent, but your finger's in his mouth. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. Jesus. You're on the right track. Play with it. This feels right. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucosa of the mouth is slippery, delicate to the touch, and the soft meat teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. A vision of black and dark red death pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. It looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat and there in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula. Right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It's swollen shut, almost vanished, no larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius. The edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar! This is what we're after! I'm so glad I upgraded you recently. Abrasion collar, yeah. Abrasion collar. Kim looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper. Kuno is silent. Touch it with your finger. Gently. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index finger fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem. Fuck is happening? Oh shit, see. Brainstem. Yes, that's what this part is called. Feel around first. A basal ganglia feels clumpy. A bullet has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Deeper. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There's no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. Tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with. The ululations of the limbic system have ended. All is quiet. The cavity is here, cut right between the hemispheres. Lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Fucking cavity, see? Quivering with awe. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of the skull. The The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. Wriggle in. Your fingers reach toward his skull. The cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edge is cut right into your skin. This must be a bullet. Yes! Oh god, I was so worried about that one! You pick the sharp metal bullet between your index and middle finger, with your face twisting from pain and concentration. All you need to do now is... I got it. My pig's fucking got it! He's watching his old man get the big prize at the claw game. What? What is it? Slowly pull your fingers out. The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove as you pull out. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower. A blossom made of lead. Fucking beautiful. A bullet. The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it. The bullet falls in the plastic, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says, "Unknown caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. Keep it, Lieutenant. As a gift." No. You deserve it. Wait, we're actually keeping it? We can log it later. The Lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. Feels light. He turns to his notebook. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion collar. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity, temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. He underlines the injury forcefully. How does that sound? Just not. Opinion. Fatal injury. This concurs with the Hardy Boys story. Click, click goes the pen. One last thing. And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. Treatment. It's obviously the Hardy Boys tampered with it. Maybe the bullet holds more answers. Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I'm certain it has more to tell us. This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it. I think I need to wash myself. Oh, you really, really do. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Welling Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. Wait, so I'm gonna smell like death until the evening? What happens next? We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen in Kanima. I can transport him to the processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. You'll be gone? What should I do meanwhile? Work on the case, tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. One more thing. He looks you in the eye. Great work, detective. The word lingers in the air of the basement. Faraway ice cream makers are buzzing, and sea wind blows outside. Detective. After you bag the corpse, Kim will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly. We're not doing that. I'll let you do that at 2 a.m. because I don't want you to ever go away and I love you oh so very much. Let's take a look at the bag. And let's interact with the bullet, shall we? Also, white envelope. What's this? Oh, from Everett. Yeah, let's take a look. Try to find a loophole in the deal. Oh, hold on. We gotta look at it first, obviously. No. Fucking bag, please. I'm so glad we finally got the corpse down. I'm so proud of us. Look at the zoning plan. The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. It's either ominous or a cool architecture choice. Hard to say. I mean, I imagine it's so they can eventually encompass those buildings as well. But it's gonna take time. My money's on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite. What do you think of this, Kim? I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. The lieutenant replies, flipping through the documents. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but... He shrugs. How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. There's no other way. Cool cubic pyrite, -1. Fantastic. There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise next door. Wait, what are the ramifications of this? Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out. Look, Kim. These people are going to have to move away. Can we do something about that? I should have seen it. The lieutenant frowns as he reads over the document again. Everard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access for the coast before we do anything. Everard won't believe you got the villagers' signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock. Okay, wonderful. That's the cockatoo guide. I forgot about that. Let's look at the bullet. The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with an item number, case number, and date and location of when the bullet was found. Besides his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad. Like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower. Okay. What do I do with you, bullet? What? The lieutenant steps closer. I said, what do I do with you, bullet? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me. Good idea. If we find... Oh, it's my gun, isn't it? No, it can't be my gun. I showed up before. Yeah, of course. I'm being stupid. Okay. If we find out who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better. Feel the bullet through the bag. Squash bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. Feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. I guess? Inspect it closer? The jacket of the bullet is made of yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. Let's look at the jacket. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear, feels standard. And the core, quite destroyed. Some of the fragments still lodged in the wound. What can you say about that bullet so far? It's a jacketed bullet close to... Oh, wow, I actually know this. Yes, it's as if you've seen bullets before, officer. It's a jacketed bullet, close to 5 millimeters in diameter. Jacketed bullet, okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzle-loader, like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. A rifle? Placed in the dude's mouth? This is very strange. Highly unusual. People of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century. Is the other hardy girl, like Renee or something? The old war vet dude? What the fuck's going on? Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it. Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. It's have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. I've got no hand-eye coordination. Try to determine what type of weapon shot. I mean, we already know. Encyclopedia said this came from a breech loader. I mean, fuck it. Okay. But it has nothing more to say. I don't have any hand-eye coordination. I don't know why hand-eye coordination is needed to determine what shot the bullet. But whatever.